I just bought this sled at the end of last season, and before this season starts, I want to go through it all. And this is typically what I do when I buy a new machine. This is 20 years old, and I just want to make sure everything's in good working order. I want to do some maintenance on it, but also peace of mind. I like to take everything apart, inspect it. So I'm going to show you what I do when I buy a new used machine. It could be a little overkill. All in all, I just found some minor stuff wrong with the machine, like carb boots were ripped, and basically a pilot jet in one of the carbs was kind of dirty. Basically everything else was in really good shape, and I could tell that when I bought the machine by just looking at it, looking how clean it is, and just talking to the person that owned it. You get a good sense of, you know, the life this machine had. It's 20 years old. I wouldn't expect everyone to do this, and I don't do this every year. I just do it one time once I get something, and then I can keep up on the maintenance there. I'll show you another video later on. I'll do a little basic check on a snowmobile, so you know what to look for when you're buying something new. So here it is, my 2003 Ski Doo MXZ X edition, special edition with the beaver tail. I went through it all. I finally got it back here where I can rip it and open up the throttle a bit. I couldn't do that where I was working on it. So I'm going to jack up the track, idle it up, rev it up, make sure it's running good, make sure the track's aligned, and then I'm just going to wait for some snow. I just want to show you what I go through to make sure a sled I bought used is ready for the upcoming season, and what I look for, what I do to make sure I have a fun and reliable sled. Let's start under the hood. As you can see, no exhaust here, so that's the first thing I would do, is take the exhaust out of the front, inspect. I look for oil marks around the exhaust, and this one had a bunch of oil spraying out, which means that it needs a new gasket. That's a good sign there. We'll go around this side. On the Y pipe, you see all black oil there. I thought I needed a new gasket, but it turns out the bolts were just loose, so I tightened that up. You want a nice tight exhaust, you want a nice tight motor, you don't want anything leaking by. As you can see, the primary clutch has been removed, secondary clutch has been removed. This whole big area has been removed. It used to be the air box, the carburetors, and you can see right into the intake there. I'm actually installing VForce reeds on here, and so I cleaned up the surface nicely for the intake. You can see the piston there. One of the known problems of this sled is carb boots are ripped, and I did find some boots that were ripped, so that's going to be taken care of. That's a simple fix. Thank goodness that the VForce reeds come with new carb boots. Once that's removed, you can see right down in here, you can see the oil pump, the fuel pump. Check all the coolant lines, make sure all the hoses are connected tight. I did find one line that was loose on this system here, so I'm gonna make sure it's on securely. Let me put some zip ties when I install it again. Now if you look over here, this is some typical problems with this sled. First of all, I set up a little rig here to pressurize the PTO bearing to make sure the seals are holding, and they are. That you're worried about on this one in particular, the inside seal, the inner seal, because if that's leaking, it's going to suck all your grease away from the bearings. So if you see here this contraption, so these are known for PTO bearing failures, and that's because the special Isoflex grease gets sucked into the engine, bearing runs dry, and it seizes up. So I installed this nice little ring here. MCB Performance makes it. To do that, I had to screw these 4 little tiny bolts, actually make the thread into the crankcase to hold that. I was able to pop the seal off and apply new grease and a new seal. And with this, I'm easily able to take it off, take the seal out, inspect the bearings, grease it when need be. Down here, you can see this metal brace. It's not finished being installed yet, but this sled is known for bending the nun or bending the bulkhead or the frame. You can see a little kink right there, right? So I took care of that. Still drives straight, still drives nice by installing this bracket. Now on this side, you can see the same bracket is there. It's not finished yet. I have a punch holding it in, but over here it looked good, except for this corner here. You can see a little crack right there. See that? And a brace is gonna support and fix that before any big problems come. You gotta know what you're looking for. If you didn't know that was a problem area, you can ride and that would snap right off and you'll be in big trouble, or the sled would you know, need some big repairs. You can see here I took the recoil cover off. I only have a pull start on this, so I put a brand new Cobra cord in. They're supposed to be guaranteed for life. We'll see how that goes, but might as well have a fresh rope so it's not, you know, snapping on me in the middle of winter. Underneath here, I'll show you in a bit, that's a flywheel holder. I did take the flywheel off, and I did grease the mag side bearing with a syringe. There's a whole procedure. I can take a stator bolt off and inject the grease into the top bolt, and making sure the bottom bolt is venting so you don't pressurize the seal. Muffler has been removed here, and here you can see I just took the chain case cover off. You want to inspect there. We're going to put fresh oil, check the tension is good, check that the chain is good, there's no loose bushings on the sprockets. And actually I'm going to be taking this off the bottom gear because I will be changing the track, putting a new track on this. As you can see, it looks like a lot's missing, but in reality it's pretty quick going. Basic hand tools can do everything except the flywheel holder and flywheel puller. That's a specialty part. And also you're going to want a clutch puller to remove your primary clutch. That makes the job a lot easier, but you buy it once and you're good to go. Well, I just installed the new VForce reed valves. Like I said, my car boots were ripped, so we need to freshen that up. I had the carbs out, and while they're out, I made sure I synchronized them. The floats the slides are at the same height, they move at the same time. I cleaned out the jets, which were relatively clean. I did see one pilot jet a little dirty, so hopefully they'll run better. Made sure all the hoses are connected tight. I found one loose one. When the carb was out, I checked down there for the oil injection pump. Made sure that was operating properly. Starting to look like a machine again. So I have the skid out because I'm replacing the track, but keep in mind you can do all this with it being in the machine. And once it's out, I'm just gonna check all the bearings, make sure all the wheels are tight, all the bearings are good. Gonna inspect for any, I guess, cracks in the arms. I'm gonna grease it up. There's grease zerks all over the place. You gotta find them and grease them, clean it up. This one looks in great shape. And of course, I know I'm gonna be changing the slides out. You can see there's still that's the wear indicator, that line there. There's still a lot of meat over there, but once you get down in the center, you start losing it. So I bought new slides, and this is the easiest time to put it on. Okay, I got the locking the circlips off, and I'm gonna pull that drive axle off and take the truck out. A couple new add-ons I did was a new track. The other one was worn. I went pretty aggressive here because I plan to do a little lake running and ditch banging with this sled. So it's a 1.37 lug track. That's pretty much as big as you can get with this beaver tail 121 track.